Commence primary ignition.
Hi, my name is Margot Apostolos. I play Tokat the Ewok in Return of the Jedi, and you are watching the virtual canteen.
Thank you, Margot.
Thanks, Margot. Hello there. Hi, Ashlee.
Hi. How's it going, Sarah?
You? Not bad at all. Happy Wednesday. Here we are.
Once
Back
again.
Daughters of the Galaxy. Yes.
I know. I feel like we just did this.
Really? I feel like it's been a month, 2 months at least since the last time we were here. It's been a long couple of weeks for me, so I am so happy to be here with you tonight.
Yeah,
and
we have Mark back behind the scenes.
Yay!
We've taken him back from Vegas. We're just like, no.
His little, continental gallivanting going on there. We had to rein him back in and be like, excuse me, sir, you have responsibilities here. Thank you for joining us. Yay, our absolute favorite.
Yeah. Hi, Sherry.
Hi, Sherry. Hello. Welcome, everybody. Looking forward to speaking with you all about one of my two favorite sister pairs in the Star Wars galaxy.
Yes. There's been a lot of really good ones, but these are like undeniably the best. I think.
There's some arguments to be made for that. Absolutely. 100%. Yeah. In both wonderful and tragic ways. Like the best of them are, right? Like you got to have the comedy and the tragedy. You got to have the pair going on there, right?
That is true.
Fabulous and not. So yeah, we had some thoughts and ideas and suggestions lining up with real world events going on, and thought that this would be a wonderful time to revisit or perhaps even reintroduce for those of you not particularly well versed in the animated world of Star Wars. Jump in, join us, talk about these amazing sisters Kryze.
Yes, and there's a method to our madness, because next Monday night on Clone Wars Revisited, we're having our first special guest of our show run.
Of the year.
We are welcoming Duchess Satine herself, voice actor Anna Graves. She will also, that's Anna right there.
Mm-hmm.
I love that woman. She's so great. She's going to be joining us Mark
live
and myself
on air.
Live.
Yes.
Monday night at 9, 6 Pacific, and we're going to be discussing all things Satine, what she thinks about Corky Kryze. Of course, that's the question that everybody wants to know, and where she thinks she could have gone with Obi-Wan had she just said the word.
Oh, I know, right? The tears.
Okay, but she'll
and
be
even a
tiny
bit more tragically. I'd be really curious. I'd love to know where she thinks her and her sister would have ended up.
Yes, because we know they were on the good terms.
Yeah. And it was cut so short. Their I guess you could say like professional political relationship, because you have the family bond, but then where they were and what they were doing and what was happening, those are the kind of things we're going to dive into tonight. And it's sort of I wonder if she's ever thought about what might have happened if she'd have been able to continue her character the same way that the great, wonderful, amazing, fabulous Katie Sackhoff has been able to do with the younger of the two sisters.
Mark has been dying to know this question.
Mark, it's a little early. Sir. We're like 5 minutes in. Calm down. We'll bring up your banner child of later.
Corky Obi Kenobi.
Yeah.
Hi,
GB. As always.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Hello, John. Hi, everybody.
We are going to jump right in with our girl, Duchess Satine. She's had a very, polished life as being the Duchess of Mandalore, and
I think both of them did, right? Because their father was, I believe his name is Ardenai. Am I saying that right? I looked it up, but it's hard because I have not watched the episode where they actually pronounce his
Yes,
name.
Adonai Kryze.
Adonai. Yes,
Duke Adonai
Kryze. Yeah, so he was the Duke of Mandalore for
and they're based in
long time?
Kalevala.
Kalevala, yeah. And he had 2 daughters, and so that had to have been interesting, being 2 daughters. What I did like about it was that there was never any question of the fact of, we didn't have to marry you off, or we didn't have the male line cousin, somebody, brothers, sisters, whatever's over here. Like, no, like the Duke had 2 daughters, and we were going to get a duchess out of it, right? That's just the way it was. And Satine is the oldest.
And that was the bloodline.
Yeah, and I believe he was the Duke during all of the clan wars, right? Like the really, well, not the ugly part of Mandalorian history. There's a lot of ugly bits, but the most recent, directly connected to the Clone Wars, prequels, original trilogy timeline, he was the Duke, and he fought valiantly and led his people and started to see the futility of it. He managed to unite everybody under Clan Kryze, but was devastated by what it cost the people, what it cost the culture, is it really worth it? And
the girls growing up, they got to experience Mandalore before, like, the natural resources got destroyed by like constant bombing and bloodshed.
And the strip mining and the everything. Yeah, and so they had all of those rituals and all of the traditional ceremonies and things that they went through. And I think that was probably one of my favorite bits, was the referencing back as through the eyes of a little kid, like literally like rolling their eyes, like, ugh, what is this? This is so boring. What is this nonsense?
Yeah. But when you grow up and it's not there anymore, it's jarring. Like, not only is it not something you can practice anymore, it's something that nobody can practice anymore because it's been literally wiped from the planet.
To have lost it and to reflect back on it. And I mean, as a woman of a certain age, those are the kind of thoughts and feelings that I have these days. And I'm always really impressed when writing and stories and characters are given the opportunity to reflect back on where they were. And I kind of wonder if that's sort of where the Duke of Mandalore was when he chose to send his oldest daughter, Satine, to Coruscant.
Yeah.
He sent her away to be educated at the embassy, the particular college. It's escaping me now. I'm sure it's going to get.
I'm looking up the list right here.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
That's okay. Yeah, sent her way to be educated on Coruscant in the ways of diplomacy, and democracy, and a very different path from what Mandalore was.
Learning from senators, learning from the government system that's in place on Coruscant, the Senate, everything like that. And as Sarah said, diplomacy is key if you're going to run a planet, especially a planet that's constant war all the time.
But that was very unusual for the history of Mandalore. And we have never really learned. I've always been really curious. I was like, okay, so that's what the older sister is doing. What was the younger sister going through at that time? How did she get pulled into what she did? Like there's all these depths of backstory that could be, really interestingly visited, plumbed.
And
that might it might have a direct reflection on who they are by the time we meet them for the first time.
I feel like it does, because as you said, Satine being older and having a direct connection with her father, like she's next in line. She has to learn all these things. She has to learn about diplomacy. She has to learn about governing. She has to learn about serving her people. And obviously they need it. Whereas Bo-Katan, she's just like, I'm the spare. I can do whatever the hell I want. She's like the wild child of the group, and she does just that. We'll get to her in a second.
Yep. And as someone who has 2 boys, I'm fully familiar with the concept of the heir and the spare. I get it. Yeah,
if you read Prince Harry's book,
it's a very popular term, apparently.
It really is. Yeah.
So, but I think that there's like a real level of, I guess you could call it courage, or at least, determination to try to forge a different path. Not only that the Duke experiences and believes in and tries, but then Satine, as his heir apparent, tries to continue. It's like she could have just been like, meh, okay, whatever, old man. And then when he was gone, she made another choice.
Mandalore rules. rules.
Right? Yeah,
kind of
like
thing.
let's go for it. You know, don a
Yeah.
helmet, grab a blaster. It could have.
Yeah.
And then she ran into the ugliness that resulted in the Clone Wars.
For sure. And it was something she tried to keep her planet safe from. Because again, she's already dealing with enough war on her planet. She doesn't need
People
to
who don't
be.
want to hear it. Yeah, they're like,
Yeah.
what? Yeah.
They're like, we have enough problems. We don't need to get involved in the whole galaxy-wide situation. We're going to deal with what we have at home. And it's the whole, the thing that they struggle with the most is realizing that the old ways are not lost. We can re-educate the people. We can keep them going. We can bring Mandalore back in this way. And I don't know, like people didn't want to hear it. And it just led to more struggle. And she did her best.
Yeah. Well, and I think there's something really, I said before, there's something really brave about that. You know, a very famous admiral in the Navy said that there's nothing more dangerous in the English language than the phrase, that's how we've always done it.
Yes.
You know, and it's,
so toxic.
I think it's incredibly brave for, you know, women taking over in the position of leadership to actually stand up to an entire culture of warriors and say, this is toxic. It's not good for us. It's causing us to be weak in relevance to the galactic stage. We're not making good choices. We're not being healthy. It's damaging to our people, and dares to dream to try to do something different, you know? I think that was really amazing. And then to actually have your plan come to fruition on the stage of the, you know, the separatist war going on during the Clone Wars. It very sadly causes that to have that's the foothold, right? That's the wedge right there between not only herself and her government and her people, but also we learned very late the sisters. We didn't actually know early on when we first see them in the first couple of episodes that they were actually related.
Yeah,
it actually came out much later.
They don't find out until they run into Bo-Katan, and she's just like, like she doesn't want anybody to know about it, because obviously if it's said, like Jin being the daughter of Galen Erso and being you know, the pupil of Saw Gerrera, if she says who she is, a lot of trouble is going to happen. And I really felt like that was probably the way for Bo-Katan, especially with the Night's Watch and everything like that, to kind of overtake Mandalore from the governing Duchess.
Death Watch.
Death Watch. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
What did I say? Nice Watch. Oh my god! I Game of Thrones this. Oh my god.
Well, yeah, but then I was like,
people pick new words.
There was the Night Owls. I'm like, was there a thing? Was there a thing between the Night Owls and the Death Watch? Did I miss something? No.
Yeah,
okay, good. We're on the same page, right? Death Watch, Night Owls. Don't complete
bastardization of those two. So
it happens when we have so many loves and so many fandoms. The terms start blending. I just wanted to be sure we were on the same page. I was like, did I miss something called the Night's Watch?
We were. I just.
That was
we're good, guys. It's fine.
I love it. It's okay. It's okay.
But having Satine be like a standout, like her wanting to unite Mandalore under one banner, and her actually getting a lot of support from maybe the older crowd on Mandalore, the ones that weren't so interested in the bloodshed, the ones who just wanted to live in peace, and I bet you there were some, even though they're Mandalorians. It kind of garnered the attention of the Galactic Republic. And who came along for that?
I don't know. Somebody.
So between 41 BBY and 39 BBY, the Republic leadership recognized that Satine was doing a really good job trying to lead her people to end this war on Mandalore, and they sent their ambassadors to Mandalore to help intervene. And it's Qui-Gon Jinn and his little Padawan, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Our baby.
Our baby.
Oh my gosh.
Baby.
Right. This blew my mind. I mean, I have to admit, as someone who really wasn't into much of the lore of Mandalore, before this animated series came out, I was sort of, I was a little like, what's going on here? I didn't really understand what Satine was trying to do. I was like, oh, okay, so you're not picking a side. Like, I didn't really get it initially, the first episode, the first arc. And then by the time she came around and was going toe to toe with Obi-Wan in arguments about, oh, I'm sorry, generals, you're generals now, you're not Jedi, you're generals. And I was like, oh, she has a good point. Okay, hold on, wait, like it just completely. And I was like, what is this? I
was like, how is she talking to him like this? And then you
Right.
could see, and it's like, oh, it's almost kind of like an old married couple. Wait a minute, what if they have history? And then they just delve into that.
They do. Yes. That was amazing, and I love how it mirrors so many other novels that have happened,
Sure.
both in canon and in Legends. And I think it really speaks to the broader history of the Jedi Order and the Republic and the way things used to be, that they would go out and they would have all of these missions and they would have all of these outposts and they would meet all of these people and build these relationships. And at least, especially, as recently as the High Republic, not to mention 1,000 generations going out, Jedi would leave. They would leave. They were a part of the Order and they were invested and they were doing the things. And and it wasn't, well, see, now you have to be careful. Is it a relationship or is it just a fling?
It totally was. It was okay. To be
I
honest,
completely believe that.
Between Obi-Wan's subservience to the Jedi Order and the Galactic Republic, and Satine's subservience to her people, devotion, subservience. You can see where my brain is today. But her devotion,
I was like,
to
we're
people,
going there. Okay,
we're going there. Yes, we are. But they both had greater things that stopped them from acting on it out loud. But it was there. The foundation was there. And
absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that bond was absolutely there. And I think that's just says so much, at least to me, about both of their characters, you know,
for sure.
And the fact that in the past, this absolutely caused knights and Padawans and everybody else to peel off from the Order, that the Jedi were completely okay with it. Yes, exactly.
Sorry, I have questions about this.
or to flip it, you can develop attachments, but don't act on it. There's other ways to deal with it.
Which is exactly what Obi-Wan did. He was attached to her, but he didn't act on it.
At least not
but Jedi, the giant, freewheelers of the galaxy, no attachment.
I'm telling you, the Rolling Stones of the Republic, baby. I think that could be a cover band. I don't know.
Yes, it could. Oh my God, we need that on a shirt. Where's Dave?
Yeah. We have Obi-Wan and people from the High Republic, and maybe a little lurky Anakin over here, little angsty teenage Anakin over here somewhere.
Anakin with like the long hair going
with over one eye.
Emo hair.
Yeah.
We're fine, definitely. Fair. But it's just honestly, like, both, as I said, both of them had bigger things that they were attached to that stopped them. But
it's equally tragic, because if either one of them had been brave enough to say it,
speak up,
like it could have, but they both cared so much about the dedication of what the other person was doing that they were like, I'm not going to be that selfish,
exactly. And that's the part that drives me nuts, because it's like, just right there. God.
Yeah, it really is. It's the Magi's gift, right? It's the gift of the Magi.
It'd be fine. It'd be Qui-Gon's problem. It'd be totally fine. Yoda's problem. It's all Yoda's problem.
Yoda's problem. It's all Yoda's problem. I know. Yeah. But at the same time, if they had done that and he had lived a quiet life, if he'd been on Mandalore, if they'd succeeded, think about how the galaxy would have changed. I mean, think about how many important things he survived and went on to do because she let him be a Jedi Knight. I mean, it's kind of mind-boggling to me when you start playing with all the different pieces and the different impacts of what would happen if the two of those people had not been who they were.
For sure. And I like your point on that. But the sad thing is, even though Satine didn't get Mandalore united the way that she and her father had hoped, at the same time, years later, Bo-Katan meets up with the Mandalorian and with Grogu and with the rest of her Night Owl squad, and they kind of further Satine's vision in a way of uniting Mandalore.
And you sort of have to wonder what would have happened if she had survived. I mean, let's just say hypothetically, they'd have fought off Darth Maul before he did what he did, and she survived.
Sure.
I almost think that not much would have changed in the actual fate of Mandalore. You'd have had the siege, and then you probably would have had the purge, because she certainly wouldn't have knuckled under to the Empire. In fact, it might have even happened sooner. I mean,
It took a lot for okay, Bo-Katan was on Mandalore, but she was part of a semi-terrorist group who was
it was still so fractured, right?
Yeah,
After
it was
all of that. Yeah,
it was still really like into different factions and things like that. So her Death Watch squad that she was part of, they were against the uniting of Mandalore. They wanted Mandalore to be forged forward, no more traditions, no more. The old ways were dead, long live the new ways. And it kind of, as we said, it's the spare acting out. I feel like that was the bratty little sister acting out because she didn't get enough attention.
But it was still such a rejection of everything. I mean, it wasn't even a return to the old ways. It was like, burn it all. Like, I don't want your peace. I don't want your past. I don't want anything. I'm just going to go off here and be like angry forever kind of thing, you know? And I got to tell you, that was not a character I liked very much when I first met her.
No,
I mean,
didn't either.
Legit. I mean, come for me. Okay. Come for me all you want. I did not like Bo-Katan. In fact, I think I blocked a lot of everything about her, because for the longest time, I thought her name was Bo-Katan. I was like arguing with my children that how you pronounce her name was Bo-Katan.
Yeah.
And then I go back and I hear it's like every time anybody ever references her, it's Bo-Katan. And this is a thing. This is a me thing. You know, like, I firmly believe in proper pronunciation of names, but I cannot get past the name Bo-Katan. No, I can't get past it. I can't get past it. This poor girl, she's already the younger daughter, and her sister is Satine, and you're Bo-Katan. And the worst is when, like, the emphasis is on the last syllable, Bo-Katan. It sounds like my Wisconsin in-laws at a reunion. I'm like, Bo-Katan. Bo-Katan. I mean, it's like, oh yeah, sure. Come on over here, meet my niece. This is my sister Satine and my sister Bo-Katan. She's up visiting us from down in the south in Sheboygan. And I'm like, oh my God. Sheboygan, like what? Like Bo-Katan, like I have to say it really fast. I have to say it like super fast. I have to. It's the only way I can do it. I have to.
You gotta say it like Kitty Foreman.
But yeah, well, and I also kind of have to affect like a little, like, sort of Monty Python snooty accent, right? So like I have to be, oh yes, here we are. This is Bo-Katan Kryze of Mandalore. You know, like she's the guardian of the holy Grenade of Antioch. You know, like I have to say it in a ridiculous way to just. I can't get past it.
Oh, for sure. JB says, interesting Obi-Wan and Satine let go of this attachment to a degree, while Anakin could not. Very different paths and consequences. Totally true.
Oh, that's been a big ups for me. But again, in my family for a long time. I was like,
secret. We did not know this until Satine's death.
Yeah.
We did not know the depth of their attachment to each other until she was dying.
Because he worked so hard to let it go. Like, he never stopped loving her, but he didn't let his feelings for her rule his choices or influence his ability as a Jedi to wield the Force or impact the Republic, which is, as he said, the absolute son of shit. Thank you, Sherry. I'm going to take that as a legitimate love.
You should.
Sorry.
No, and it's true. It's Anakin. He kept a lot from Anakin, I felt. And it's probably for good reason, because ultimately Anakin was the weak link. And if he knew about that, he could have used that against Obi-Wan.
I mean, but I mean, that's fair, you know, but it was like, I told you everything I was told, and I still made the right choice. So if I tell you all the things that I was told and you didn't make the right choice, you know what I mean? It's like, I gave you all the information. It was all there. And it wasn't only one person. It was both of them.
Yeah, for sure.
It was Padme and Anakin. They both chose it, you know. And I go off on a little tangent sometimes, and I think about, you know, Anakin could have just married Padme, could have just come right out and said, "I love her," and he could have been arm candy of the Naboo senator, and he could have tinkered with droids on the planet and run orphanages for people, you know, victims of slavery. He could have done all kinds of amazing things with his ability and his position and his influence, but that's not what he wanted. He wanted the power. He wanted the recognition. He wanted the control. Oh, me too, Sherry. Yeah. Absolutely gutted. Absolutely gutted.
The worst part is hearing James Arnold Taylor say that in the voice and just trying to keep it together. Because I was already having a pretty emotional day at Rhode Island Comic Con. But when I told him that whole scene absolutely wrecked me, like, and it was kudos to him and kudos to Anna and kudos to Sam as Maul.
Yeah.
It was just such an intense scene. And we were hoping, like, when I saw it, I was hoping to high heaven that Maul wouldn't do this, but we know when Maul is desperate, crazy crap happens.
No, he doesn't need to be desperate. He just flat out crazy. He just flat out crazy. He does crazy all the time. I mean, I'm serious. I cannot come up with the levels of crazy that they are going to do for an entire animated series on Maul.
Yeah,
I'm like, my God, it's going to be like dialed up to 9.5 every single episode. I'm going to be worn out after like 2. I'm going to be like, I'm tired. I need a break. I'll come back next year.
Now, Maul?
Like, oh, for God.
Yeah. But honestly, just having him say in that voice, and he goes, "Oh yeah," he's like, that was just such the hardest line to record.
I can't imagine.
I
think that says so much about him as an actor, right?
For sure.
Like to have that emotional, like that's our job as an audience, right? Like that's what we do. We're supposed to feel that way, but for him to also embrace it and still all these years later to still be emotional about it, like that just.
And I'm so excited to be able to ask Anna about it because, girl, like that was the last thing I expected, because we don't see Obi-Wan make that kind of attachment.
No,
we don't see it. We never knew until that moment, and it was just like.
And equally impressive to me that like the fact that it just solidified my love of this character was what he did after. And like it's a cartoon, somebody like computer animated it, and you can still see the struggle, and you can see the battle, and you can see him still be angry, but he's like, I'm not going to let this make my decisions. I'm not going to let this rule my actions. I'm not going to let this make my choices. And which, again, as we said, is the exact opposite of everything Anakin did from the time he was a little kid. Right? I know. Yeah.
Calm down, Anakin. The end.
Yeah. Calm down, Anakin. Yeah. Which is also why I loved the Obi-Wan Kenobi series so much. Is that he was finally able to let go of that guilt. It was not you, sir.
Needed to have.
It was not you.
Vader
it was
say it.
Him. Yeah. I don't think anybody else would. I don't think he would have bought it. I don't think he would have ever been able to let go.
And that's what's crazy, because Vader could have been like Maul. He could have lived for that level of torment, especially after what happened with Anakin. No legs, no arm. Everything's burned into a crisp.
10 years of bitterness.
Yeah, just constantly in pain because of the decision that he made. Yeah. And he could have blamed Obi-Wan for everything and just made him like, yes, you did this to me. But no, he set him free, which was kind of unexpected.
Well, and I think that's where that little buried kernel
is, little bit of good.
It's still there. Yeah.
Like, obviously he's still.
I mean, I never understood. I heard Hayden say it. I heard Hayden Christensen say it. And I was always sort of like, what? Because he said George Lucas maintained that even when he was Vader, Anakin was still the chosen one. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And it wasn't until that scene that I was like, oh. So for me, it was just one more of those glorious continuity, connectivity things that I finally understood how we got to Return of the Jedi.
Yes.
Because for all of my life, including the prequels, the dots never made sense. I didn't understand the language. I didn't understand the actions. I didn't understand the resolution. It wasn't until that show
That is why I love that show so much, because it filled in that gap. It released the guilt. It gave Obi-Wan the freedom to do what was right and stop living as a complete and total
punishing himself, you know, and you wonder how many times during all of that solitude and that self-inflicted isolation was he thinking back to all of the things and all of the mistakes and all of the death? Was he revisiting Qui-Gon? Was he revisiting Satine? Was he revisiting all of these choices that he'd made all along and doubting himself, when honestly, he's one of the few people that continually really did truly make the most altruistic choice he could.
And that's why he's one of my absolute favorites in Star Wars.
Always, 100%, 1000%, all the way.
But the thing with Satine, and I think when he loses her, and when Bo-Katan, who Dave Filoni has said is modeled after his wife, and I love her.
I didn't need to know that.
Yes, Her name is Anne
I know it
Convery.
is. Yes.
That's why we have convors.
Convors, exactly.
She is obsessed with owls. So the owls in the animated
The night
series,
owls. Yep, the barn
night
owl,
owls. That is,
the helmet and everything.
yep.
Yeah.
That is
Well, see,
all
now I
about
feel bad
Anne.
for how much I disliked Bo-Katan for all those years. Bo-Katan Kryze. I know I feel bad.
Yeah,
Now I feel
but,
bad because Anne's a
so
lovely person.
Anne is
I feel
amazing.
terrible.
If you guys have read the Clone Wars storybook, it's all the collected stories from the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
She wrote Bug in that, and it's a
Oh.
really great story. So make sure you check that
Okay.
out. The
Check it
Clone
out.
Wars and other stories. It's by like a collection of writers. It's got Rex's helmet right on the front of it.
You can't miss it.
It's so great. But so Bo-Katan, when she's all for destruction, she's part of this group. She doesn't want Mandalore united. She thinks it's stupid. She's like, new ways rule. She's like the complete and total opposite of her sister. She doesn't want it to
No
govern.
respect
She
for
doesn't want the old
traditions.
ways. She
No
doesn't want
respect for
traditions.
ancestry or
Burn it down.
history. Yep,
Start
it's
new.
all about might makes right. for her.
Exactly.
And
Who's the
I
strong
did not like this
warriors?
character at all.
Yes.
At all. To like most of it. I think it started to turn like basically through all the Clone Wars. I was like, yeah, okay, whatever.
But when she witnesses that Maul has not only taken over, she has corrupted.
Too little, too late, sister.
Exactly.
That was kind of my attitude. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. So you regret what you did now? Well,
oh, I know.
Maybe if you'd have back, and then I found out she was her sister. And again, like this is why Obi-Wan is my favorite character because he was like, "I'm so sorry," and I'd have been like,
the connection between like
I'd have been like,
and Padme,
and you were standing up there taking it back in your sister's plate. What the hell is wrong with you? I mean, I'd have been so mad at her. Obi-Wan's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry for your loss," you know, and I'm like, "Oh, very humbled, very humbled." I was like, again, he didn't turn on her. He was just like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. That's really terrible." And he's like, "Wait, he's comforting her, and he backed her more than you ever did in your whole life, really?" Okay, that's the Jedi right there.
Honestly, I think Obi-Wan knew that things were already as dire as they were going to get with Maul.
Yeah, that's never stopped me though. I'm sorry. It should. I recognize what fun. I would have told him that, and then I'd been like, I'm sorry, my bad. It's okay. We gotta go find out. Okay, it would have still come out. I don't think I could have controlled it. His mastery of his emotions was truly impressive at that moment.
Oh my god, his mastery of emotions through this whole thing is just like, whoa, dude. Like, you need to teach a course because people need lessons.
Well, apparently it didn't work because he had one student that epically failed the whole thing. Anakin.
We blame Plagueis. Not Plagueis. Sidious. It's fine.
Oh, yeah. All the way. You can totally blame him. It's always comes back to him.
But when she realizes that, you know, she's on the wrong side, like Bo-Katan is on the wrong side. Things are not going to get better. Maul is in charge. Maul took no qualms in killing her sister. They're going to find out eventually that she's another royal and he's going to come for her. And she realized that her goose was cooked and she needed to make a decision right now. And
having very much self-centered, you know, perspective. I mean, she rescued Maul and Slash. Like she helped them like repeatedly. I'm like, if at any point you had just left those two on their own, none of all this would have happened. I was like,
and it was kind of like her way of, I believe it's her way of making up for it, honestly.
She did. I mean, she absolutely did. And I think that it's fascinating the amount of character growth that is exhibited through all these different series. And I mean, I will fully admit when Rebels season 3 rolled around and I was oh god, this person again. Like I thought
almost had
I have a cool female Mandalorian now. I'm not interested in your face. Go away. I was just my kids were like, "Oh come on, mom, she's done it." I was like, "Arr." Like I was like, I'm not over it. It got a little better. It got a little better through Rebels. I mean, I will admit, like she didn't do anything epically stupid. So you know, props to you, girlfriend. You figured it out. But she didn't actually win me over until I saw her in The Mandalorian.
Right.
I will admit that just for me, it's for my personal journey. And in fact, I wasn't real excited. I was like, oh, Katie gets to do live action. Well, good for you. You know,
but when I saw the helmet come off, saw the helmet design, like this.
It was so well done. It was so well done. I was so, but I was begrudgingly admiring.
The helmet off, and I'm like, Oh my god!
No, and I was like,
how I reacted with Lars.
I was like, oh, well,
Run.
fine. Nice character design. Like, I mean, I have fought this every step of the way. I really, 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 really have. And now I am just like a huge Bo-Katan fan. There we go. Can you say that with proper? I am. I'm like won over. I saw her at Rhode Island and she at the panel and she was just fantastic and charming and wonderful.
Now,
And
Katie's
so,
dad is a huge Star Wars fan. So what I love
Yes.
the most about is when she got to have him on set the day they were filming, when Luke arrives in the X-Wing and saves Grogu, and all the women and Mando are trapped on the bridge. She got to have her dad there while they were filming that, and like honestly, the coolest thing ever. And it was
That would have been so cool. I mean, how many of us out there would have loved to have been on that set and had our dads there when that happened? I mean, just
like
that was
dad,
like a dream come
OG Star
true
Wars
for so
fan.
many of us, and I love that for her. I just love that.
So cool. But getting back to what Obi-Wan says to Bo-Katan, like, she was your sister. I'm so sorry. It's kind of mirroring what he says to Padme, like, Anakin is the father. I'm so sorry. Like, Obi-Wan is like the master of apologies when it comes to this. Like, okay, it's a little late. Things are going to hell, but he's going to be polite as hell about it.
You know, that's the thing. And it's not even, it's such a British thing. Oh sorry, like you bump into them and they say, oh sorry, you know, like they're not actually apologizing. It's just sort of like this commiseration kind of thing, right? Like he's really like, oh, that sucks, you know, like that's just the Obi-Wan version of, well, oh, you're screwed. I'm sorry, honey. You know,
I'm so sorry. Now
such a polite
on
way.
you.
It's the Doctor Who thing. Like, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This is delightful British thing.
But to have her realize the error of her ways and help Obi-Wan recover Mandalore and just stop Maul and capture Maul, as we continue to see when Ahsoka goes back to Mandalore and fights Maul and captures Maul. Finally, epic lightsaber battle, one of the coolest in Star Wars, I think.
Oh, absolutely. And the fact that Bo and Ahsoka had history from when she was a Padawan at the the very first time we meet the Kryze sisters in the Clone Wars. It's like just this really beautiful parallel. I just thought that was amazing the way they wove it back in.
Yes. And when Ahsoka is wearing Satine's armor, lost it. Absolutely lost it.
Oh, and even in Rebels, when we see back on Dathomir, he's got the mural of Satine and his weird little creepy thing. And I'm like, oh, stop. I mean, just the way that these two women are just so interwoven in so many different threads, not only through Star Wars, but through the whole galaxy. You know, it's just, and to know that Bo-Katan sticks with the planet and sticks with the people through all of Rebels and through all of the, you know, the galactic civil war and into everything that happened with the Empire.
And it's why she kind of rolls her eyes at Mando later on. Like, as much as she works with Sabine to get the Darksaber back from Maul and to unite Mandalore, at first she doesn't want it. She's like, no, I don't want to rule. She's like, but it should be a Mandalorian rule.
No, thank you. Yeah.
But Sabine realizes that it belongs to the true royal family of Mandalore. And she truly believes that Bo-Katan is going to do the right thing and honor her sister's legacy, honor her family's legacy, and bring back the lore and the history of Mandalore.
Yeah, and she was on the right path until freaking Empire.
Moff,
you know, the purge, the great purge of Mandalore.
So KX droids come on the planet. We've seen or what those KX droids can do, and Mandalorian
and the bombers and the and so to me it
the Night of
like,
1,000 Tears.
It's like it's like an escalated version of what her sister went through. Like, this is it. I'm finally gonna make a difference. I'm finally gonna unite our planet, and then the Clone Wars breaks out. You know, and it ends terribly for Sabine. And then they go through all of this pain and struggle, and they finally, you know, they get the Darksaber, and Bo-Katan is finally on board and finally in the right place, and she's going to unite everybody. The Empire comes in and just, you know, lacquers the whole place, just absolutely destroys
everything, buries,
blasts it all, buries it, turns into glass, absolute slag.
Robot creatures, kidnapping.
I mean, I
Mando and
feel like
Grogu.
at that point,
Yeah.
Bo-Katan must have absolutely felt what her sister felt
Yeah.
during the Clone Wars,
It was
and
a
when
cycle.
yeah, and she turned her back on Death Watch, right? She'd finally walked away from it. She took her little crew and she left, and then to know what it felt like to try to make this difference and fail, that had to have just shook her to her core, you know, to know that
Sure.
she'd been part of what tore that down. And then to have it happen, and then she meets this Mandalorian who's a child of the
He's
Watch.
not even a true Mandalorian.
That's a
It's like,
spin-off. That's a spin-off of that group that she left. I mean, it just gives that a whole other meaning to her taking her home and going, dang.
she's sitting there going like this
She's
in
like,
her
I
throne.
can't
like,
get away from this. Yeah.
By the
when
way,
she
that
first
throne
meets
scene
him.
is the most hilarious, especially
most
like
hilarious.
the TikTok video of the girl eating popcorn in bed as Bo-Katan, and then all of a sudden she hears Mando's ship, and she's like, "Oh shit!" and she runs to the throne like she's been sitting there
She's
the
like,
whole
I've
time.
been here all along. I'm dignified and regal. Yes, I'm
I've been
Bo-Katan
so
of Mandalore.
despondent.
Yes, thank you.
I've been so bored and despondent.
Yes,
The Mandos
yes.
are no
Leave me
more.
to my pain, please. Yes. Yeah.
Just how she sits is just comedy. I
That
don't
was
know.
amazing. And it's funny because you see the drawing of her, that like the art concept at the
Yeah.
end of the episode, it is not at all what they ended up shooting. And I was like, oh, that's so much better. Like when they just adapted. Yeah. I mean, she really comes into her own. And I love how when we finally get through all of the bits and pieces in the different series in season 3 of Mandalorian, she finally gets to, like, when she's literally walking her path with Din Djarin, she's bringing him in. Exactly. And gosh, it's about bloody time, you know?
Yeah.
As someone who was not sure of this character from the beginning and who, you know, watched it all along, to finally get that story and to relive the history of a planet with someone who wasn't there but wants to know and wants so desperately to be a part of it. Like that back and forth between the two of them where she's finally starting to understand.
She hated the lore and hated the legend.
The ridiculous puffery, right? She's like, oh, the ceremony, and I was the Duke's daughter, and la la la.
The fact that she's seeing it like coming to life, like the mythosaur being underwater, and she's the only one that witnesses it.
Mm-hmm. And then she's like, so what does that mean? Does that mean something? Is that something? She's like,
oh, she knows what it means.
Well, she had to ask the armor, right? She's like, so what would that mean exactly, according to you? Like, according to people who keep the lore, and for her to witness her own.
And that's why I think having the armor around is really key, because as much as she ignored, it's like when you go through something when you're in school, and then it, as history does, it repeats itself, and you're like, wait a minute, I know something about this. Did this actually happen? And then to have someone who knows clarify.
Well, she's like the lore keeper, right?
For sure.
Like
she's a historian.
Yeah. And as much as like Bo-Katan had a really negative
she's the Mandalorian
experience.
To Costa New.
Yeah, exactly. She's the great archive keeper, because Bo had such a terrible relationship with Death Watch, and that that you know, Pre-Vizsla and everybody was the people who literally helped attack her sister and tear her down and made the way for Darth Maul, but that's also the same group that the armor is a part of. Shame on you! How could you forget the mythosaur?
There's so much Star Wars that has happened in the last 3 years. You have no idea. So,
okay, fair enough. There's probably bits and pieces I forgot too, but I would not forget the giant dinosaur underwater. That is literally like the real life visualization of the cartoon.
Oh
from
my god!
like
this is me.
Come on, it was huge. It was huge.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and I could feel Katie's expression through her mask, like through her helmet. I could feel her just being like, so what exactly would that mean? The armor's like, why do you ask? No reason. No reason. I don't know. I was just curious. I don't know.
And my helmet will stay on in your presence, so you can't see
I'm really
my,
kind
oh
of
my
legit
god
excited.
Face.
Like, I hope we get a little bit of that in the Grogu movie.
Grogu, for sure.
Just a little bit of it, because I mean, it's eventually going to have to, you know, reach its pinnacle.
Oh my god, right, Sherry? Me too. I
thought it was just going to be dead. I was like, well, that's gross. That's like a fossilized mythosaur that like is now floating around. I thought it was like going to be petroleum kind of or something, right? I was like, oh great, it's a dead mythosaur. That's gross. And then it opened up and it was like, whoa! And then it looked at her. I'd have been like, jetpack, fire the jetpack. I don't want to fire the jetpack. I don't care if it breaks it. I gotta get out of here right now. This is a very large dinosaur.
Honestly, like I was with you. I thought it was like, okay, like between like all the jet fuel and all the bombing, I thought it kind of tripped some sort of formaldehyde and like preserved it and whatever. And I was like, oh, okay, well, what's this? And then what? And I was like, oh, okay, hello. How's it going? Don't eat her. Please don't eat her. We need her.
Yeah. I was like, oh, please don't do that. Please don't do that.
But to have Bo-Katan on the opposite end of the coin, Bo-Katan, when she first meets Mando with the Night Owls, and she meets Boba Fett with them, and both her and Casca Reeves, played by Mercedes Varnado, Sasha Banks, love her so much.
Okay, is that the first time we see that character like officially named, or was she in the Clone Wars too?
No, she was
this was an official live action creation because she was amazing. Correct. And I'm like actually sad we don't have more of her. That was that would have been wonderful to have
really
like this whole
busy,
history.
But I was kind of hoping she'd come back. But we have X-Woves, so it's good to have Simon Cassianides.
There you go.
Him back. But just to have her and Casca give Boba Fett so much crap because he's an unaltered clone of a Mandalorian. Yeah. So he's not a true Mandalorian. And just
that was so good. She was like, and I know what you are. Thank you very much. She's like, I've heard your kind before. And I was just like, oh, this is like, so good. The shade being shown. And Din Djarin's like, what's happening here? And I'm like, this is so good. Oh,
hey, can you fight in a bar elsewhere, please?
I know, it's like old soldiers like quibbling and fighting over stuff, or even, I mean, dare I say it, don't come for me, OG Star Wars fans, when they start fighting over crap, and then you have some like Gen X or Gen Z or millennial that's sitting there going, what are we arguing about? Is yeah. It was pretty good. It was pretty good.
It was so cool to like see the verbal sparring go off, and just the way she's just fighting over lore. Absolutely,
always,
Mark.
every time.
It's the connection is perfect. So A+, Sarah.
It was really good.
We see Bo-Katan come a long way from helping Din Djarin rescue Grogu, and stop him from being kidnapped, and come back around and realize that in order to walk the ways of the Mandalore, as the armor would say, they were going to need help, and they needed each other, especially when Bo-Katan loses the Darksaber.
Yeah.
And she has to fight for it. So Din ends up winning the Darksaber from Moff Gideon, which technically he ends up losing again to the robot in the Mines of Mandalore.
Yeah, the creature. The actual creature defeated him.
Cyborg thing.
That was something else.
That was so weird. But then to have the Darksaber break after that.
I cheered. You know what? It comes to a point where it gets to be such a I feel like you need to smash that stuff at some point.
Do you feel like it's too much lore?
Yeah,
and it's kind of been literally hanging over everything that has happened in the Mandalorian
for millennia. It's like it's part of the bad blood between the Mandalorians and the Jedi. I'm like, for the love, just let's literally bury the hatchet, smash the sword, bury the hatchet, get it over. Move on, because as long as that's out there, it's always going to be some weird thing. It's
going to be a point of contention. Someone's going to want in it, and someone's going to want to fight for it, and someone's going to outdo the other, kill this person. It's just going to get to be too much. And I'm with you. I think the only way that they were ever going to progress forward as a people is if they embrace the spiritual side and
release it. It was part of her failure of the past, right?
Exactly.
Like she used that, and then I remember the armorer actually said, "Oh well, Bo-Katan Kryze actually tried to unite Mandalore when under the Darksaber, and that wasn't enough." You know, like it's actual like legitimate snark, like it's undercutting authority and everything, even amongst the clans. And it was like watching her and the armorer and Bo actually come to an understanding, like. We need to be able to live with each other. We need to be able to respect. You can take your helmet off and I'll leave mine on and we'll still be friends and unite the bloody planet.
And we're still Mandalorians. We're still going to do this.
And I feel like the mythosaur is the jump. I'm like, can we leave the evil saber in the past and use the mythosaur instead? Like,
mythosaur is the future.
Yes. Yeah. I'm right. It's the past.
Ooh, I'm so
the
excited.
Future. Yay! I know.
Yeah, but instead of mythosaurs being like stories of legend to the point where it's like, they used to ride mythosaurs into battle, and it's like it's crazy talk. Like it's like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, like you used to ride dragons.
Well,
But
how small your planet must have been that you were able to ride these big stompy things and not like covered in 5 steps, right? Like,
I
I mean,
know, like,
yeah, you must have had a whole lot of fighting going on that planet for you to need to
well, that's why
ride
they had the
swords into
extra
battle.
moon
Yeah,
tucked away.
before you trashed it somewhere. Yeah.
But I also think like having Bo-Katan and Satine, their struggle, it also kind of helps Sabine with her struggle as a Mandalorian, like
Yeah.
duty to family, duty to the old ways, duty to the Empire. Like the Empire has come in and taken so much from you
Mhm.
and promised your people these things, so that now they're turning against your family and they're making you make weapons that kill your people just so
Yeah.
they can have your planet.
Yeah.
It's kind of like having all of them together is like it's unifying. And I think it
I
allows
agree.
Sabine to understand what it means to be a Mandalorian as well in
Mhm.
this new era. Don't hold on to the drama of the past because
Pull the good pieces, right? Pull the
yes,
parts of who you are without the
yes,
bits that divide you,
for
right?
sure.
Like
Yeah.
find the common ground. And I love that as radical as Satine was trying to make changes, you could even maybe argue she was trying to do it too fast. Like you were a very, feudal warring thing and you were trying really hard to make a really sharp turn really fast.
Well, that's why I felt so many older Mandalorians
Yeah.
were on Satine's side because
Yeah.
again, they remember the
They were
time when the
tired.
planet was
Yeah.
healthy and not war torn.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Well, this will get back to it." And then the young kids are like, "Oh, this is stupid. They don't know what they're talking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever."
We need to fight. We need to fight. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So,
the fact that Bo-Katan got to see all of that and got to witness it and experience it, and then Sabine growing up literally in the middle of a war
and being
a
an
fascist
imperial
regime,
cadet
like the Empire,
and
like I
making
think,
weapons for the Empire.
yeah, like the line through it all was kind of the Kryze sisters that started with their father, the Duke, and
Mhm.
moving through it all. Um, it culminated eventually to where we got, and I love that line. It's don't hawk the truck, I know, but there's a great show in the later seasons called Tapestry.
Yeah.
It talks about that, the way our life is woven threads of all of the mistakes and the problems and the people in the past that we met. And if you pull just one thread out, one little thing you didn't like, or one thing you could wish you changed, or one thing that was terrible and you hate to remember, it unravels the whole thing.
For
And so
sure.
is there any
Yeah.
way we could have gotten to the Mandalore that we see now in the current lore, without all of the bits and pieces, without Satine, without Bo, without their father, without Sabine, without the Vizslas, without Din Djarin, without the armor, without all of those pieces, could we have gotten there? And it's so fascinating how much both of the Kryze sisters are woven into it, even though one of them isn't around anymore.
Right. And I think Satine was the catalyst for so much.
I
So
think so
much
too.
between
Yeah.
both the Empire versus the Rebellion, the changes that happened on Mandalore.
Mm-hmm.
We can even say the rebellion with Sabine because again, she was educated by the Kryze sister, a Kryze sister,
Mm-hmm.
on how to be a true leader. Like she witnessed firsthand what
Yeah.
Bo-Katan's people were willing to fight for in order to unify Mandalore.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like,
and the Ren
okay,
clan was subject to all of that feudalism that
yes,
was pushed so hard by
yes.
Death Watch, And
And
so if you
she
had
realized
had
that
that to
this is
push
not the
against,
way.
yeah, she
Got
would
it.
have never known that there was another option if they hadn't had to fight so hard against, her father and Satine's idea of let's do something different.
To the
Let's
point
move
where it
away.
almost cost Sabine her father, which was
Yeah.
terrifying because
He was
again,
very much a pacifist. He was the artist, and it
yeah,
was her mother that was, and so I kind of saw some similarities in their relationship that you saw in the
sure.
sisterly Kryze clan, and so it's like, yes, the government and the general philosophy that Satine was attempting to push in her administration was pretty radical for the people as a whole, but
Yes.
those seeds are there. They always were there. They were there at her time. They were there years and years later. Like this wasn't some, weird random thing she was trying to foist onto a people that they'd never heard of before. The elements were there in the culture and in the people.
Right. And Ulrich Wren, he, like you said, he was an artist. He
Yeah.
believed in peace. He believed in documentation, celebrating the beauty of Mandalore, the history of Mandalore through art. And it was the only way, like, as artists do, the only way you're going to have a voice is through creativity and expression.
Yeah.
Not through war, not through violence, not through tearing families apart, not through destroying a planet. And it made him a target for the Empire.
Yeah, it sure did. They don't like that. They don't want to hear it.
And
They don't
Gar
wanna know anything
Saxon was
about that.
not happy about it, as
No.
we see. But Gar Saxon continuing Death Watch, even after Maul is gone, like, you still see the spiked helmet. You still see all that. And I'm
he
just
took
like,
the worst of it. Like, there was,
he did.
I
It
felt like
was
there
like
was no honor left when the
none.
Night Owls separated out. It was just the desire to control and the bloodlust and the greed and the violence and the hate that Maul preyed on. I felt like that was all that was left at the end, you know? Yeah.
When you have a leader, and I don't even like to use that term with Maul, and when you have a usurper,
No, that's
a murderous usurper like Maul, who just wants to make the Empire pay because he knows that the Empire is relying on Mandalore to just tear itself apart and pick through the ashes and get whatever's left of the planet for themselves and their projects. I think Maul realized that him ruling Mandalore would put a wrench in the Empire's plans for it, and that's why he went all in on it to the point where he even killed Satine. But it also furthered his vengeance on Obi-Wan because he used the Force. He felt the feelings, searched his feelings. He knew how much Satine meant to Obi-Wan.
How did that not
which
break
is why
him?
when he killed her, it was his way of breaking Obi-Wan and getting vengeance for him being
Trying
cut in
to,
half.
you know, and I also think that his desire to rule Mandalore was his desire for recognition that he never got. He never got the respect. He never
Vengeance
got
and
the elevation.
he
never got the adulation. He never got the glory and the fear and those things that he has desperately sought his entire life.
Yeah.
And obviously being cut in half by Obi-Wan kind of cut his career short as a Sith.
About what he did to Qui-Gon is totally fine.
I know. Whatever. And so it was just that he was like, I can't make my way as the Sith Lord, so now I'm going to rule Mandalore. Like, someone will look at me, someone will notice me, you will acknowledge me, you will give me my due.
Will pay. People who wronged me,
will pay.
Whether it be Empire, whether it be Obi-Wan Kenobi, they will pay. And
acknowledge how special I am.
I will have my revenge.
Yeah,
that's why when he says it to the Emperor and he's like, alas, we will have our revenge. And I'm like, this is going to be his whole character arc, isn't it?
Yes, it absolutely was. And it never failed. And I think that was my favorite part about Obi-Wan's reaction was that he never gave him what Maul wanted.
Exactly.
It never
right
broke
up to
him.
The end.
He never was angry. He never lashed out. He actually pitied him and gave him a merciful death at the end.
And also he learned his lesson.
This is the chosen one.
Qui-Gon's lesson.
He did. He used it. He used it to lure him in, to reel him in. I mean, there's no finer.
We could talk about that all day.
Another day.
Yeah. But honestly, these two, and as you said, they've changed Mandalore for the better. They've put Mandalore on a track that, though it has had to go through tragedy and honestly more bombing, Knights of a Thousand Tears, whatever Moff Gideon is
what they
planning,
did to themselves, what the Death Watch did to them, what the Empire did to them, they
have led them on the right track.
Yeah, it gives hope for real life too. That it doesn't matter how many ugly, tortured, terrible transitions you have to go through, you can come out on the other side.
Lessons will be learned.
One life cut short and one life continuing on, somehow still together, manages to weave this really, really incredible story. And it all started with animation. In case you haven't seen it, in case you haven't watched, please go check it out. You can Google key episodes for Satine and Bo-Katan Kryze of Mandalore and jump in, join us. This world is amazing. This world is fabulous. Don't turn your back on it just because it's not live action. It's amazing.
Yeah, animation is good for a reason. And also Bo-Katan is like the spitting image of Anne. Like, if you know Anne, the red hair, the freckles, the green eyes.
Yep.
The obsession with owls.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot of love. It's a lot of love in these characters. Yes, exactly.
The fact that she is in live action and she is making a difference is phenomenal. I am so excited. I can't wait to see what they do next.
Me too.
And I want to see some Satine flashbacks. Just saying.
Oh, yes, please. That would be fun. Gosh, that would be good.
Yeah, Chantel. Anne is so awesome. She's such a sweetheart. But
I hope I get to
yes,
meet her someday.
I hope
Someday.
so too. She
Cons,
definitely goes to
conventions,
Celebration.
special events, maybe. I don't know.
So
Fingers
she's
crossed.
always out and about. But yeah. Also, Katie Sackhoff and Anna Graves are going to be joining most of the VCN contingency at Rebel Scum Con 2025 and the Frisco Conference Center in Frisco, Texas, August 8th through 10th, 2025.
This August, yes.
The biggest party going on at Rebel Scum Con. You will see Anna Graves there herself at
Boonta Eve Special Edition.
That's running during Rebel Scum Con. VIP tickets are sold out for that one, but you can still get regular tickets available for that.
And the Sackhoff Show podcast is actually going to be recording, shooting. I don't know which term you use for a video / podcast. I'm not sure what it is, but it will be, yes, at the same time, right before the Rebel Con Boonta Eve event.
Oh, that'd be cool if she had like a bunch of the crowd there and just
that would be fun. I mean, I would go for it if
like
I was going to be there. I would give it a try. I would give it a shot.
Yeah, it's kind of like they do with Pod Meets World when they have conventions, and Danielle and Will and Ryder all go. But I'm a Pod Meets World fan. This is what happens. Sherry says she was on the animated Ahsoka panel at Celebration in Anaheim.
Wow.
It was so cool. So as we said earlier, Clone Wars are visited with me, Skip, and Mark on Monday night at
next
9 p.m.
Monday.
Duchess Satine herself, Anna Graves, will be joining us as our first guest on Clone Wars
live on air. Bring your questions.
Yes.
Join us. Yes, help us welcome Anna.
Get sweaty. We want to hear some nerdy stuff.
Okay, but just keep that part to yourself. I mean, do that at home.
And when you get sweaty, it's a Collider thing. I used to watch a lot of Collider. So when you get sweaty, you get nerdy about stuff.
Like, I know. I mean, but keep the sweaty part to yourself. Just bring the fun questions and love, nerd love. The keep it clean, people. Keep it clean.
Yeah. But, if you guys have any questions for Anna, please. Join us on Monday night, and don't forget to join us on the road to 100,000 members here at the
guys. Look at this graphic. I mean, this makes me so happy. One way out. You got the Death Star. And that Andor. Look at that twinkle in his eye.
And that coat, that snazzy coat that he gives to Mon Mothma, but that's his reporter coat.
We are almost there.
We're doing some giveaways. So 98,000 member prize giveaway. If once we hit 98,000 members, we're going to enter you to win 2 3-day badges for Rebel Scum Con in Frisco, Texas. Plus, what are we getting, Sarah?
2 tickets to Boonta Eve Special Edition.
Please remember that your transportation and accommodations are not included in these tickets. We just get you in the door. It's up to you to get there.
But gotta get you in the door.
We do half the battle for you. So if you would like to go and you're able to go, please enter once we hit 98,000
friends in person, meet some amazing celebrities.
Yes. And at Fan Expo Dallas this Saturday, May 31st at 7 p.m. at WXYZ Bar at Aloft Hotel is the virtual Cantina meetup. It's on 1033 Young Street in Dallas, Texas. If you're going to Fan Expo Dallas.
If you're in the area, if you're traveling, I've heard Ashlee Eckstein's going to be there.
It
could be a pretty amazing show. Look us up. Come say hi. Come meet some people in real life. I mean, with nearly 98,000 people, you may meet somebody that you've chatted with in the group.
Exactly. Or hear in, the conversations.
Put some names to faces. Come say hi. Yeah. Once you meet this crazy crew, it's hard to stop meeting up.
Look what happened. Look what happened between her and Jamie and Skip. We've all married now. We're just pulling you in.
Join us. Come join us.
Join the dark side. We have cookies.
It'll be one fan club. Come join us.
I know. Crap, I need that on a t-shirt too. Damn.
Fantastic.
I'm gonna wear my Visible Confusion Obi-Wan meme t-shirt that I got at Celebration.
I love that. Yes.
I was like, I don't have a Duchess Satine shirt. Like the dress that her universe put out.
It was gorgeous, but I'm like, I need something more casual, y'all. I need something more casual. I need to wear with leggings and jeans, kind of casual, because that's fabulous. But I can't wear that to go to yoga class or clean that bathroom. So it just doesn't work. I need a nerd. I need a general casual nerd. Yes, please.
I would just throw leggings on under it because Me in dresses.
It's so pretty. Yeah.
I like pets. Oh, Chantel says, love me some Cassian. Yep. Chantel
Oh,
is Casa's
so
biggest
good.
fan. I
Just
still
finish
can't stop talking about it.
the third walkthrough. Just finish the third
Oh my
walkthrough
God.
of it.
Please tell me your children enjoyed it.
Oh, they loved it.
Okay, good.
They're 19 and 21, and there were like a whole lot of whoa and 0 complaints. And I was like, check.
What do they think of
I mean,
Clea?
that never happens. Oh, love. And actually, I think near the end, Ian's comments was like, I told you she was in charge. I'm sorry. All right, you win.
I was going to argue. It's cool.
I'm like, I love this woman so much. She's my new fan. She's my new favorite fan. I follow her on Instagram. I love her.
Me too. Oh my God. Her and Faye, who plays Vel.
And Denise.
Love them.
Yep.
And Denise.
Denise I'm following all the things. All the things. All the people.
I'm telling you, I'm not ready to let go of this. I love Andor so much. Still haven't brought myself to watch Rogue One yet.
I know. I think we're going to have to do it this weekend, though, because the kids are like, oh, I really want to watch Rogue One. I'm like, okay.
Rip the Band-Aid off.
I can do it. It's been a while.
Chantel says, I've been watching every reaction video on YouTube, so I've seen it close to a dozen times. I'm sure.
That's a lot of reaction videos. Wow, girl. Woo. We're not worthy.
Like Screen Crush and New Rock Stars, like those two. And on top of Tony Gilroy's videos with Ash Crossan and interviews, and Kyle and Denise have been hilarious.
Oh,
and
they've been so fun to watch. I have really enjoyed them. Yeah.
So
absolutely obsessed. Well, thank you all so much for joining us, and thank you for this wonderful idea, Ashley. I had such a good time.
Yeah, I figured we'd love these girls. You know, it's a good way to ease in and announce Anna for next week, and just kind of get to talk about our 2 favorite Mandalorian sisters. Yeah. So make sure you guys tune in. We have the Thursday night watch along tomorrow night.
Yes.
With the guys. I'm trying to see what they're going to be watching. I am so terrible at calling this up. I should know. I should
not have really it loaded. My phone died on me. Where am I?
Here we go. So we got watch along Star Wars: A New Hope.
Of course,
at 9:30.
Or season 4 of Andor. Sorry,
just saying. And then Sunday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, we have the Jedi Archives with the Battle of Eriadu. That made me sad.
Is that Yeah.
I read up on some of that. It made me sad. I'm sorry. And then obviously we have Monday night with Anna Graves joining us on Clone Wars Revisited. And we will see you guys then.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah. Have a fantastic week.
Have a great night and a good week.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you. See you soon.